Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Harrison's was one of the first guys that we brought here via free agency when Kwesi and I got together here, and there was a lot to really like about Harrison from afar. And then when we brought him in, you really started to see even more from a leadership standpoint. He's consistent every single day. His teammates voted him a captain his first time in his career. He was the man of the year last year. And although it always tends to circle back to what you do in between the white lines, which Harrison has been really rock solid for us and really played a ton of snaps for us, it's also those other things that as a coach I can rest easy knowing Harrison's going to be here for much longer than just this year. And I always like when we do reward our own, and we've done that a few times throughout the spring and training camp, and now as we're going into the season, coming out of the season. I just love it. Every time I know it's getting close, I get excited and do whatever I can to help get it over the finish line. But in the end, it's a big hug and a smile from me saying I'm very fortunate to have this job in the first place, but to have this job with players like Harrison Phillips gives me a ton of joy.
Yeah, it's I think you should see big jumps from players from week 1 to week 2, knocking a lot of the rust off. It's hard for me. I know we had a couple joint practices, but it's still a controlled setting. And then, as a friend to a lot of the offensive linemen here, I could never really go 100% against my buddies. You kind of get to them and, I could have got you there. And so you get out there with things moving full speed and life and death decisions. And I actually saw a lot of plays that I wish I should have made, could have shown up better, could have planted and things like that. So I have a lot of areas that I'd like to improve, and I know that this week is a really, really big test. When you talk about their dominance up front, their physicality, wanting to run the ball so many times a game and things like that. It should be a really, really strong test for us and another area where we can learn from moving forward. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't the easiest of decisions. But we all thought that there maybe get a deal done before the season, and it wasn't exactly where my camp thought was where we wanted it. And so, there's the kind of decision of, well, hey, well, we're going to play then and maybe play out this season. And ended up, again, working with the Vikings and getting it into a sense that we were very comfortable with it. And, again, with all those decisions of moving to family and all this stuff, this is a place that I want to be in. My goal here is to win a world championship. And, you could get the free agency and get a cool number, but why not be at a place in an organization that's all in to do that? And the Minnesota Vikings are trying to do that, and I want to play a part.
I think Flo yesterday talked a little bit about you wanting to enhance your pass rush. I think we saw that week 1. What have you done in that regard to just focus on that as a skill set?
Yeah, it's interesting. We have, I don't know, I can't remember what they call it. I think it's like 3 betters and bests or something like that, good, betters, and bests. Like 3 things you do well, things you do great, and 3 things you should improve on. And one of the things I should improve on was they said that I need to become a little bit more of a selfish player, because when I'm out there, I'm constantly trying to make sure that where's the space that they're hunting, where could one of my teammates have messed up or slipped, and how can I help them be better? And when you show up on film, especially in the pass rush situations, instead of just like bloating my stance and saying, I'm going to go win this rush, I'm trying to figure out, well, hey, if he steps this way, should I cover him? Or if he loses his rep, I need to look this way. And I find myself kind of around the line of scrimmage trying to make my teammates right. And, there's a time and place for that. And there's also a time and place where, like, hey, HP, trust yourself. And if you have these one-on-one blocks, maybe you should try and go affect the quarterback a little bit. And so I hope to choose pick those shots in a more aggressive way, in a timely manner where it makes sense. We're not out here swimming blocks and trying to break sack records. I understand what my job is here. But, yeah, I would love to see a jump at being able to create interior pressure. If this was 2001 and teams were in 23 personnel and you needed those nose guards, that's what I was built for. But as the game evolves, it seems like they're really valuing people who can disrupt quarterback timing. And so I'm trying to elevate my game and change my game to how the game's evolved in the NFL.
What were reactions from guys like Bullard and some of the guys you've been alongside with kind of in the trenches?
Yeah. Well, I would say the support was incredible. I was in here getting rehab when the news broke here, massage, acupuncture, all that stuff. And I think all of a sudden guys just started hugging me, dapping me up, let me hold $1, let me do this, that, and whatever. I think it was really cool. Obviously, the most respect I want is from my teammates. And them voting me captain this year kind of solidified that. And so I knew that all these guys were super supportive. I thought it was really cool. Later last night, after I was out doing some stuff in the community, I was able to get home and catch up on my phone and to see some of my brothers amongst the league and some other top defensive linemen and offensive linemen reaching out to me on social media. I thought that was really cool too, to see other people recognize the things I do under the radar.
You mentioned the 49ers run game. What is the biggest challenge
Ooh, well, I think that one of my greatest strengths is my brain and the way that I can diagnose plays. And I saw some of the clips that you guys put out on social media from this last game where I can take a step. I know the blocking scheme within a step and be able to shake offensive linemen. Well, here they don't really have good tendencies. For the 4 plays they run this way, they run 4 plays this way. When they go strong, they go open. When they go 4 out, they go condensed, they go split. Everything they have an answer for, and so you can't really guess. So this is a true line up, get our call, and kind of man whoop a man, or can you win your 1/11th of the defense? They have game plan runs, so in the second half I might be able to get to some of those strengths that I have. But just to start the game, P and 10, there's not a lot of tells that we'll know what they're going to do in this run game.
I'm not asking for names or anything, but did you hear from any of your playmakers that were excited that you're staying around?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know Elizabeth, who's been a playmaker with me for a long time. She was at an event this offseason with Coach O'Connell, and she posted her video out there. There was a live Q&A session. I think it might have been at a church that Kevin went to, and she got up in line and said, asked a question, and then she said, "Kevin, one more thing. I think that you guys should have Harrison Phillips stay here for forever." And so she reposted that and tagged me the other night. And yes, a bunch of my playmakers have been reaching out, and we have a couple events coming up this season, and we'll probably throw a pretty fun little party. Bring your dogs.
Thank you.
Good? Yeah, thanks.